Several years ago, I worked the late shift as an online customer support agent for a women's clothing company. The other CSAs and I were constantly mistreated by crappy customers, and our managers did absolutely nothing to support us. The company valued its customers so much that the rules for dealing with them were disgustingly lax. For example, this one guy would call in obviously masturbating, but we weren't allowed to hang up on him because he never actually said he was. We had a 3-strike policy where a customer could say pretty much anything they wanted to 3 times before they were disconnected and banned. But we also had a 1-day turnover policy where if a customer was cut off for inappropriate behavior, the ban was reset the next day. So someone could come in, tell you that you're a bitch 3 times, get kicked off, and then come and do it again the next day. The entire time I worked there, I never saw a single person get permanently banned. Not even the masturbating guy. I eventually ended up quitting specifically because a customer harassed me to the point of me crying, and my manager's response was that I could have an unpaid 10-minute break now instead of my 15-minute break later. Yeah. One of the worst customers was this woman we'll call Kathy. This woman would enter our CSA chats around midnight, drunk, she admitted to this. She would ask questions like, "What jeans do you think go with this top?" While the CSA answered, Kathy would say things like, "Wow, this is taking so long. Imagine working a minimum wage job at midnight. Bet you want to kill yourself." Warning number 1. The next time, it would get a little worse. "Wow, you're such a loser. Have you ever thought about killing yourself? I would if I was you." Warning number 2. The last time each night, it would be something like, "I hope you die. You're so sad. You should kill yourself." At that point, we'd let her know we could no longer help her, and we'd disconnect her. And then she'd pop back and chat within a few days and the whole thing would start over. She always said the same kinds of things. She clearly knew she could say 3 separate terrible things to us. Our managers never helped or stepped in. I once looked this woman up. I wanted to know who she was. To my surprise, I found out that she was a therapist. She had her own practice. I was baffled. What she did was a horrible, cruel, unkind thing. I couldn't believe a therapist would do this. I later quit working at the company. I waited a few weeks. And then I made a phone call to Kathy's practice. I spoke to Kathy. I told her I was seeking therapy. During our intake call, she asked me what kind of issues I was facing. Well, I said, I do this really weird, psychotic thing a few nights a week. I get really drunk, and I start a chat with minimum wage customer support agents and I tell them multiple times that they should kill themselves. That's so fucking crazy, right? She made a tiny noise. A moment passed. The call disconnected. My friends at the company said that she never messaged them again. My wife was a corporate lawyer and mediator. She had some very nice work clothes. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and was gone in 2 years. The last 6 months of her life were hell. My sister Sarah didn't do jack shit for us during that time. My wife never liked her. I do not like her. She is a selfish cow. At my wife's wake, she started asking about my wife's clothes, and I brushed her off. She wanted to pick out a few pieces to remember my wife by, and I ignored her. It's been 6 months, and I've attended my mom's birthday, but I'm still not in the mood to deal with people. Then Sarah comes, asking about my wife's clothes. I told her my wife wanted me to donate them to this women's shelter, and she often helped. It will help women in need with their own court cases, court appointments, and job interviews. My sister Sarah said my wife was even selfish in death. I asked her what the fuck did she mean? And she started going off on how my wife always thought she was better than her, and it's not far that the clothes are going to charity and not to family. I told my sister I would rather see my wife's clothes lit on fire than on her back. My sister started crying, and my mom came over to see what was wrong. My mom told me to be easy on my sister because she was talking about my wife's death hard. The fucking insanity of that coming out of my mom's mouth made me grab my gift and leave. My mom acts like I had to ruin her birthday by being melodramatic, but I cannot believe their emotional blackmail towards me over fucking clothes that they have no right to. I live at home while going to university. I'm in my final year and I have a job lined up after I graduate. My parents have been charging me rent since I was 16. I have a small company that makes me about $60,000 a year. I started it in high school. It is one of the reasons I graduated early from high school and why I got attention from recruiters. My parents said that since I was earning adult money, I could take in adult responsibilities. I thought that was fair. So I paid for all my own stuff starting at age 16. Not university. I got a scholarship. And the rent they charged me was minor. $300 a month. But I basically considered my room to be completely mine after that. I kept it tidy because I like it that way. But they had no say in when I cleaned it. When I did my laundry, other than to not do it at a time when I would disturb the family, for example 3 a.m. I bought food for myself and I ate when I wanted. They tried to say I was separating myself from the family, but I saw it more as having my own schedule. This year for spring break I went down to Mexico with friends. My parents were upset because they were hosting a big Easter family get-together. When I got back they said I was behaving badly by not being around for a family gathering. I said it was my last spring break in university and that I was not responsible for their schedule. They said I was grounded and I laughed and said good luck with that. I went to my room and locked the door. They tried banging on it for my attention, but I'm done. My grandfather came over to talk to me later. He is the one who helped me get my company started and he is always there for me. He said that I was rude to my parents when they were trying to be there for me. I asked him how much rent he charged my mom when she lived at home. He said it was ridiculous to think he would charge his kids rent. I told him that I had been paying rent for 4 years. He went into the house and I heard a fight. When he came out he said that I need to treat my parents with more respect, but that since they are my landlords they do not have a say over how I spend my time. I'm avoiding my parents for now and I'm renting on Airbnb right now until I graduate. I took everything that was important to me and I left $600 for the last 2 months I had planned on being there. They keep calling me but I am currently getting ready to move for my new job. I don't have the energy to deal with them. So I teach 8th grade, and a few months ago I had a female student come up to me in private and tell me that a male student in her class was sexually harassing her. She shows me text messages that he has sent her detailing highly graphic sexual things he wants to do to her, and tells me some of the things he said to her when they are in the halls. She tells me that she has asked him to stop repeatedly but he is still doing it, and she wants me to help keep him away from her in my class. So before I file a report to have guidance and admin investigate the issue, I spend a class period keeping a close eye on the two of them to see if I can confirm or deny anything she's saying. Once I'm looking for it, I observe the male student doing things like licking his lips at her from the other side of the room, hovering around her, and finding reasons to walk past her desk. I personally overhear him make a sexual comment about her to another student. Based on what I've seen, I go ahead with referring the boy to admin for sexual harassment and make contact with parents of both students to inform them that the issue will be investigated by the school and possible disciplinary action will be taken. I don't make direct contact with the boy's mother, but I leave her a voicemail and ask that she call me back. The next day, I'm in my planning period and I get a call from the office saying there's a parent there for a meeting. Now, our policy is that parent meetings must be scheduled in advance and logged with the office. I don't have any meetings scheduled today, but I have time, so I decide to go and see what's up. It turns out to be the male student's mother in the office. She very nicely asks if we can talk face to face about what's going on, and for some dumb reason I agree, even though usually we like to have another teacher or staff member present for meetings. So we go in a conference room and I go over the allegations, avoiding names. I tell her that a female student has accused her son of sexual harassment and I saw enough evidence in class to refer it to the office for investigation. Now what exactly did you hear? Because I know my son, he would never harass a girl. He might say something stupid that got taken the wrong way, but that's just not who he is. So what exactly did you hear him say? I want to know what this girl is saying about him. I saw him licking his lips at her and overheard him say to another boy that he wanted to ride that ass all night. What do you mean licking his lips? He gets chapped lips, he might not be doing it to harass some girl. She can't just say things about him and try to ruin his life. I know my son and he is not that kind of person, no matter what some girl says. Well, admin and guidance are going to investigate and based on what they find they'll be in touch with you. So wait, what did you tell them? You can't just go and say, boy's name is harassing girls based on what one person says. He's already been suspended twice, and now you're going to get him expelled just because some girl wants to get him in trouble for no reason? Now I'm thinking, ugh, why did I do this? Mom is getting worked up, I have no one else there and my next class starts soon. I repeat that I just reported the things the girl said and the things I saw, and that it'll be investigated. I reiterate that I'm not the one making any final decision, and if she has an issue she needs to talk to the principal. Well, principal hates son's name. She's not going to listen. You need to go and tell them that this is all nonsense. You saw him licking his lips because they were chapped. I'm not going to have all this harassment bullshit. Me, again, if you have an issue I'm not the one to talk to. I just reported what I saw. They'll look into it. But you didn't see anything and you need to tell them that. I'm telling you I know my son, and you've got this all wrong. If he gets expelled because you don't know what you saw it's going to be your fault. I eventually talk her down enough to get her to leave. I report to admin that parent is hostile about the accusations and go about my day. They end up investigating and finding hard evidence that he was actually sexually harassing 3 different girls.